Hey, what's up, my friends? I'm back with some more NBA picks for you for today. We have a beautiful NBA slate, 12 games on January 27th, Monday. And I'm looking forward to diving into this because we've been heating up with basketball. And I had a rough day with NFL yesterday. It was, I went into the day just super excited, enjoyed watching the games for sure. Got a couple reads right and a couple reads wrong. It's just hard to predict, but I'm looking forward to getting back into NBA because the momentum has shifted, and I just feel like I've been reading the NBA better lately. So let's talk about the last NBA slate that we took. We cashed Damian Lillard. He absolutely crushed again. We talked about the head-to-head historically. We took him over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He went for 49. Kawhi Leonard, we're loving these low PRAs we're getting as they're increasing his minutes. 21.5 PRA, he went for 25. Dennis Schroeder, he started so hot. We talked about the revenge narrative against the Lakers. 13.5 points, assists is what we took. He went for 12 in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. 11 or 12. I think it was maybe 11. And I thought for sure this was cashing. And then second half, he doesn't really do anything. And he 0.5s us, goes for 13. Desmond Bane, this one, one more bucket would have cashed this too. So we were one bucket away from both of these cashing. He had another slow start. It was resembling the game before when we took Desmond Bane's points, assists. And I was thinking, okay, he'll heat up in the second half. And he just never got around to fully getting it done. They were going heavily with Jaren Jackson Jr. in that game to close things out. But yeah, we took him over 24.5 points, assists. He goes for 23. One more bucket would have cashed it. One more bucket would have cashed Schroeder. So we were really close. We were 2 buckets away from another sweep. A 4-man this time instead of the 3-man. So for this massive slate, I actually do have 4 picks that I want to talk about today. These are the picks I'm going with. I feel really good about it. I actually powered this 4-man. You guys can do whatever you want with it. You can flex, but I was like, you know what? I really like all these. I'm just going to go ahead and power it. So we're going Nas Reid over 15.5 points, assists. We're going to be going Malik Monk over 25.5 points, assists. Christian Braun, I like him to go over 16.5 points, rebounds. And then Thompson, we're going 3.5 assists. Before we break into these, if you guys don't mind showing me a little bit of love, just like the video, comment, whatever you feel like doing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all have been helping me a lot, so I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's just the best way to help me get in front of a larger audience, likes and comments and all that stuff. But I appreciate the support, guys. So let's talk about Nas Reid. So in 2024, he's already hit this more than half the time, 51% hit rate, but you can see he kind of gets into rhythms here. So he was starting off hot, and then he went through a little bit of a drought, and then this back half of the season, the back half of what they've played so far is starting to look good again. If we take a look at the matchup specifically, it's middle of the road, literally. 16th in points allowed, 16th in assists allowed. But if we take a look at this note here, he's on a 6-game streak right now for home games. So home games for points, assists, he's actually averaging 19.8 points, assists at home, which I'm liking. I always like a significant bump there. That's almost a 25% bump we're getting on what he's averaging versus what line we're getting. So I do like this points, assists to go over. And surprisingly, he actually has been assisting the ball a decent amount in these types of games. So his points looked good by themselves, but I wanted the assists attached because he's only got 1 game in this type of a matchup, playing at home where he has less than 3 assists. In the last 2 that he played home games, he has 4 assists. So I like that value there, attaching the assists. If we look at the head-to-head, the last 2 matchups have been solid. We've got one from last season. He went for 19 points and 2 assists. And then the last matchup against Atlanta on December 23rd, he went for 23 points and 3 assists. So he tends to assist the ball a little bit more against this squad. And they've got some injuries tonight as well, so should soften the matchup just a little bit. Jalen Johnson is out. Larry Nance is a game time decision. We'll see if he ends up playing. Trae Young is out. So hopefully, I think the Hawks are capable of still keeping this close. Let's take a look at what Vegas is projecting here. They're not expecting it to stay close, so go with your gut. But Nas is the type of guy that might see some extended minutes if it does get a little bit out of hand. We have a 217.5 over under. Minnesota favored by 10.5 playing at home. But that really doesn't scare me, to be honest with you. If we look at these last games, actually this was in a loss. So he got 28.8 minutes in that game. This is just the head-to-head matchups. They won this game 28 minutes. Let's take a look at some of these other home games, though. See if we have any. So this was a blowout. Last time they played, they absolutely blew out. Last home game was against Denver, and they won 133-104, 25 minutes. And he cleared that, had 4 assists in that game. And then averaged, he's averaging 27.8 minutes during these home games. And let's see. Yeah, I'm just kind of like looking in reference to the blowout. So the only blowout was really that last game, but he still got his minutes, 25 minutes, still was able to get it done. This isn't asking too much at just 15.5. Let's look at his last 5, because it seems to be like a home game type thing. Well, his last 5 looks good too, really, for this line, 15.5. He's cleared it 4 out of 5. And yeah, that most recent game was that game against Denver in a blowout, still got it done. He didn't get it done here against Dallas, and that was in a close game. He had 26.8 minutes, and that was in Dallas. So the home games are looking great. Even against Cleveland, when they played Cleveland at home, he went for 20 PA. So this has me really optimistic about this line. Averaging 27.3 minutes a game, just 2.8 fouls, not getting in foul trouble, shooting 57% from the field. So solid there. Only 12.2 attempts, but for his role, you can't really complain on 12.2 attempts. 62% from beyond the arc over this 5-game stretch. Averaging 3.6 made buckets a game. You got to love that for 3-pointers. And then 4 potential assists. He's been kind of turning that up a little bit. In the home games, he tends to assist the ball a little bit more. So overall, the matchup looks solid too. 28th in points allowed, 28th in assists allowed. It's just middle of the road when it comes to the center position. If he plays the 4, it's super soft. If he bumps over to the 4 there, which we know he does from time to time, 21st in points allowed, 29th in assists allowed. Let's take a look at daily grind. They like his points the best, so you could take that at 13.5, but for a 2-point bump when he's been averaging 3 or 4 assists, I still like the value at a 2-point bump there. I'd rather have the assists attached. That's just me, but you got to go with your gut. But they love the points over. 52.91% odds to hit the over minus 133, and that is a decent. I mean, it looks like everybody's kind of giving you that 13.5. Parlay plays got it bumped up to 14.5, but other than that, but they don't like the points assists. So go with your gut. Once again, 52.07% odds to hit the under minus 130. I just don't know that these odds makers are, I mean, I'm sure they're aware of everything, but the home games look solid. I feel good about him getting it done. They actually like his rebounds over 6, which seems kind of high to me. For Nas. You wouldn't think that. Dude is an absolute athletic specimen, but I mean, he just doesn't get boards much. I don't understand it. You'd think this would be someone who gets like 8 or 9 boards a game minimum. Dude's an absolute beast, but he doesn't. He gets like 3 rebounds a game, 4 rebounds a game. So they have that favor to go over, though. If you want to pivot to that, you can. 51.46% odds to hit the over minus 126. And that's kind of crazy to me because usually, I mean, we've got some 5.5 and 6.5. I guess since it's middle of the road, the optimizer's thinking like, hey, this is a little bit of a value. We think this should go over. If there's a bunch of platforms saying 6.5, there's a bunch saying 5.5 too. So I don't know why I'm spending this much time on rebounds. I'm taking the points assist. So there's some pivots if you guys want. So Malik Monk, I'm happy to take this points assist here. 25.5 sounds great to me. He's been on an absolute burner ever since he got moved into the starting lineup. It's like he really wants to keep that position. Dude's been balling. The matchup is just a little bit above average, 11th in points allowed, 11th in assists allowed to shooting guards. Overall, it's Brooklyn. They're just kind of in some sort of weird rebuild. So yeah, hasn't looked great. They flash and then they look really bad and then they flash again. But yeah, 17th in points allowed, 22nd in assists allowed, and that's overall. But Malik Monk has been crushing it. 4 out of his last 5. His last game, he went for 40 PA. And let's take a look at the head-to-head. Last time he matched up, he went for 30, and that was a while ago. That was like last season. But still, if the assists weren't attached, I don't know that he would have cashed. maybe he would have. 21 points is still a solid outing. But we have this note from Outlier that I'm really digging. He's exceeded 25.5 points assists in 10 out of his last 11 games, averaging 30.9. So once again, that 5-point bump over 5, it's like a 5.4 point bump that we're getting based off his average versus what we're getting the line at. So I like it to be significantly over, at least there to be like a decent margin of what he's averaging versus what we're taking. But yeah, I mean, this is great. 91% hit rate, 10 out of his last 11 games. He's cleared it. Coming off that monster game against New York, of all people, 31 points, 9 assists. So 25.5 seems totally doable. And playing against Brooklyn, we'll just have, again, we have to just like keep an eye out for a blowout here. Let's take a look. It probably doesn't look good, but I like to show you guys this every episode. 225 flat over under. Yeah, Sacramento favored by 12. So this could get out of hand. But when I take plays that are in games where there is a risk of blowout, it's only with players that I feel like they could get it done on the minimum amount of minutes typically. So, I mean, this game probably didn't look good, right? Yeah, this was a blowout loss, 143 to 120. New York just absolutely scraped the floor with them. And that was in New York. He played 34 minutes in that game. So yeah, I still got like a decent amount of minutes. Let's take a look at when he didn't hit. 132 to 123, 31 minutes. It looks like his minutes are pretty consistent regardless of what, if there's a blowout or not. Yeah, like he still got 30 minutes in this game against Washington, 123 to 100. If there's ever a game where he might get a little bit of rest, you might think that. So my point is I'm not worried about him getting his minutes cut. I think that he'll still get his run. He's averaging 35.2 minutes a game. Maybe we only see 30 tonight if things get out of hand, but I think he can still get this done. 2.8 fouls, keeping it clean, 47% from the field, 8.3 made buckets a game. 2.5 made threes over an 11-game stretch. That means he's shooting a lot because he's only shooting 33%, so 7.5 attempts from beyond the arc. Over an 11-game stretch is just what you love to see if you're taking a points prop, because that means that dude is always getting his threes in. And I love stuff like that. If I'm looking at 3-point props or if I'm just looking at scoring props overall, I like to see my field goals knocking on the door of 20, and I like to see, like, when you're knocking on the door of double-digit 3-point attempts, that's awesome for what I like. But 12.6 potential assists a game over the 11-game stretch. Again, 10 out of 11 games. This is just straight up games. This isn't home or away or whatever. This is just straight up games. So it feels good. I'm gonna roll it. Let's see what Daily Grind thinks. Okay, so they like his blocks and steals is the best, over 1.5 if you want to pivot. 53.2% odds to hit the over, -138. Look at that, points assists right below it. They like this to go over. 52.76% odds to hit the over, -131. Everybody's got this at 25.5, and everybody's favoring it to go over. So hopefully we get this line for a while. If it's gone by the time you're watching this, they like his assists to go over 6. They like his rebounds assists over 9.5. They like his 3-pointers over 2.5. Yeah, when you're taking 8 threes a game, that's really not bad. So, excuse me, I still like the points assist the best, so that's what I'm going to be rolling. Let's keep it moving here. All right, so Christian Braun. This looks beautiful. You can already see why I'm taking this. The points rebounds, so 16.5. He's exceeded this in 13 out of his last 15 games versus bottom 10 defenses for points allowed. So he's averaging 20.9 points rebounds against bottom 10 defenses for points allowed. 87% hit rate, 13 out of 15 games. Looking solid. Has a beautiful matchup, 26th in points allowed, 29th in rebounds allowed. Playing against Chicago. We love matchups against Chicago. Obviously, because we always get a super high over under. Let's see if that's still the case against Denver. Where are you at here? Okay, yep. 247.5 is the over under. Denver favored by 9.5 playing in Chicago. So, not really too concerned about a blowout. I think that's kind of generous because Denver's been playing really good lately. I think that spread could actually favor Denver a little bit more. But either way, I think Christian Braun should be able to get this done. Let's look at the head-to-head. Okay, so he's never done this in the head-to-head. This is both from last season, though. He had a different role. He's much more significant now. That was on 18 minutes and 22.8 minutes. And let's see. Those were actually close games. Well, the first one wasn't, 123 to 101. But that's last season. We know a lot has changed. Let's look at his last 10 in general. So he's hit it at a 60% hit rate over his last 10 games. And it just tends to be when he's playing those bottom 10 defenses for points allowed, that's when he can really capitalize, and it's looking beautiful. That is a nice looking stat there. So during these games, he's averaging 33.8 minutes, 2.4 fouls, 58% from the field, 6.5 made buckets. Not really shooting the threes that often, 2.7 attempts, only shooting 33%, barely making 1 3 a game. But this is a low line, and I'd rather have the rebounds attached because he's totally capable of popping off here every now and again. You can see multiple games where he's at 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 6, 4 rebounds. So I'd rather take the rebounds attached there than just the points alone. But you could look at the points alone if you prefer. I think that looks good too. I'll show you guys another little note here. So 14 out of 15 games for points. So maybe you prefer that. The points matchup is soft. I just figure for a 4-point bump to take the rebounds attached when we know he's capable of getting 6 or 7, even 10 in some of these games. I'm probably gonna just run the rebounds attached there too. But the points looks great. 14 out of 15 games, he's cleared the points alone at 12.5. If you can get it at 12.5, it might be bumped. Let's take a look here. That's just what the line opened at, was 12.5. All right. So they don't even like his points at 12.5. Something went in my eye. They've got that favor to the under, 50.27% odds to hit the under, just barely. We got mixed emotions. We've got some odds makers favoring it over, some favoring it under. They actually like his full PRA. You could look at that. 18.5, that's only another 2-point bump. They do like the points rebounds. They don't like the points alone. Interesting. 14 out of 15, that does sound good to me. But all of these are just barely juiced. So PRA juiced over, points rebounds juiced over, just barely. I'm going to go points rebounds. They like his fantasy score, which is odd for the optimizer. They usually don't, but they do like the fantasy score as his best over. Let's take a quick peek. So for fantasy score, we always jump right into the defense. And the defense doesn't look juicy enough for me to tack on. Let's see how the head-to-head looked. No, I just don't think... That's all what I always look at if I'm going to be taking fantasy score, because that's where and he had 3 turnovers last time they matched up. Not that that's a big deal because that was like a season ago, but no, I'm going to go points rebounds. I'm just going to stick with what I ended up with in the first place. So I really like this assist prop for Amon Thompson. 3.5. I'm surprised they still left it at that because the dude is absolutely capable. So this is his last 8 games. He's averaging 4.6. We're getting 3.4. So again, that's more than a full assist bump that he's averaging versus what we're getting. I know that it's really inflated because this 10 assist game he just had against Cleveland. But even beyond that, he's only missed this once out of his last 8 games. Averaging 39 minutes, getting a lot of minutes lately, 8.4 potential assists. He's definitely a pivotal part of what they're doing in Houston, and he's playing great. He's super athletic. He's playing with a lot of grit, and he's doing a little bit of everything, but this 3.5 assists just sounds great to me, so I'm going to be taking this one out of all of them. If we look at the matchup, it is tough. First in assists allowed to small forwards. But he is facilitating a lot for this team right now. Obviously 10 assists against Cleveland, and they ended up winning that game 135 to 131. Did we go to overtime? No, that's just a high scoring game. So yeah, I like the idea of him getting just 4 assists for us, especially coming off of a game where you played a really tough team and you were facilitating like crazy. Let's take a look at the head to head. So, So yeah, playing another tough team, obviously. And okay, so this is just from last year. So last time he played them last season, he went for 5 assists, and then he went for 3 the time before that. And his minutes were not the same. I mean, he still got 32 minutes in that last game. I think this is going to come down to the minutes, and I'm just really curious because Houston's playing good right now. Yeah, this is a closer spread that I would kind of expect that. Seems about right, 6.5. 222 over under. Boston favored by 6.5, playing in Boston. So yeah, I just think this is a low enough line. If you want to attach something to it, let's take a look at his points assists. So he cleared his points assists in that last matchup too. We have a note here if you prefer that. Points assists, you could do that. He put up 23 points on Cleveland as well. So if you want to attach the points, you can. 5 out of his last 6, 83% hit rate. Yeah. So again, I'm going to just go point. I'm going assists alone at just 3.5. Seems totally doable. 8 out of 10. So go with your gut. And last thing before we wrap up, the points obviously are tough too. It's Boston. Second in points allowed, first in assists allowed. Let's see what Daily Grind has to say about it. They like it. Why is he on Monk? I put Eamon. Come on, bro. There we go. So they like his points over 15.5. That does look good. 52.65% odds to hit the over -129. They like, bro, why are you doing this to me right now? Okay, back to where we were. Dang, they have his rebounds line set at 10. I told you guys, he's been doing a lot. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been watching too. They like his points rebounds over 25.5, 51.46% odds to hit the over -125. They like the points assists at 19.5. That does sound good, I gotta be honest. 50.79% odds to hit the over, -122. They like the PRA over. They do like the assists over. So they like everything for him tonight. They like the points assists, PRA, assists, points rebounds, first quarter points over 4, and they like his points. They like everything. So you guys have a lot to choose from here. I ran the assists. 3.5 just seems totally doable, especially if Boston is playing good defense on them, and we know that they're tough. They're number 2 in points allowed is what we said. So that's going to cover it. Once again, these are the plays. Nas Reid over 15.5 points assists. Malik Monk over 25.5 points assists. Christian Braun 16.5 points rebounds, and Eamon Thompson over 3.5 assists. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. It means a lot. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, you can get 25% off of this tool when you use code BACKDOOR over at dgfantasy.com, and they'll let you lock that in for as long as you want. And let's see, then Outlier, my favorite app. If you guys want to try this, you can try it for free. Just sign up through the Outlier link below, and they're going to give you a week just to check this out. And I'm telling you, this is an awesome app. You get every single statistical category. You can go last 10, last 5, last 20, head-to-head matchups, 2024 season, 2023 season. You can pinpoint the exact position and look for a soft spot. This is a perfect example. So like we're on Eamon right now. And I'm like, okay, this is second points allowed, first and assists allowed. Who should I be looking at for a soft spot? And then you bump over to power forward. Oh, there we go. Yahtzee, 23rd in points allowed, 21st in assists allowed. So that's one of the ways you can use this for research is I'm already liking this Eamon play, but if I wasn't sold on it and I'm wanting a piece of this game, you can go through every position and look for the soft spot and then go look at the props for that position, for Houston. It's awesome. They have up-to-date injury reports. And then my favorite is the insights. These insights are just awesome. Like some of these we saw like, hey, he's done this in 12 out of 14 games for bottom 10 defenses for points allowed, different things like that. Stuff you're not going to just like randomly think of on your own without diving into a ton of research. Outlier puts all that right in front of you. It's an awesome tool. So go try it out for free for a week, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll want to keep it, I promise you. But guys, thank you so much once again. If you don't mind liking the video, drop me a comment. Let's chat for a little bit. I actually really enjoy going back and forth with you guys, talking plays and whatnot. But enjoy this massive slate, guys. Catch you in the next one.